Welcome back to the program. If you're tuned in on radio, AM640 Toronto Radio and the AM640 Leafs Radio Network is where you can hear the action. Dennis Belak and Jim Ralph with the call. If you're more concerned with your eyeballs than your ears, Leafs TV High Definition, the place to be this evening on Rogers 500 Bell Expressview, 848. Jody Vance?
Yes, correct.
Welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you very much. Always fun to come and visit you guys here on Leafs Lunch.
Always good. And listen, I'll tell you one thing that I'm enjoying immensely. Bill, have you seen Wait a Minute, this feature that Jody does with Wade Belak once a week?
Oh, I saw the start of it. I haven't.
Ain't that a beaut?
I'll be watching tonight, yeah.
Then you'll see the first three that we did tonight. We're going to have a little retrospective because we're getting a lot of positive reaction to Wade, the character that he is, and he's funny. He has no filter.
No,
no, he doesn't.
He's great.
Yeah, he's a natural.
He is.
Wade's a naturally nice guy, and he's got a great sense of humor. Well, we had him on so much during the lockout that he got to the point where he went to England to get away from us.
He's like, I'm out of here. You guys are crazy.
You got to do something on him playing hockey in England. And if you want, I've got a couple of his scraps that I can float for you guys. You want to show them on Leafs TV. There are some beauties. One with Eric Cairns, which is a delight.
Really?
Let me tell you. Well, Wade was a man among boys playing in England with the British Elite League. He was a guy with NHL pedigree, can hang in the National Hockey League, both on the ice. And when the yard sales happened, and Wade was straightening a lot of guys out. They thought they were pretty tough in that league.
And you know what's he's big standing amongst his teammates in the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a massive individual, as we know. And then this past, wait a minute, I was in the room, and I just said, Wade, what do you want to do this week? He goes, Jode, I just really want to go home. I said, all right, well, let's go home. So we hopped in his minivan. Talk about the guy that doesn't have the sports car or the whatever. I mean, we hopped in the minivan and literally drove to his house and surprised his wife and the two kids.
That must have been a nice surprise.
She was actually great about it. Jennifer.
Honey, you're on TV.
Jennifer's great. She's like, oh, geez, I hope you don't mind. I'm in my jammies. She looks better in her jammies than I do dressed up.
She's an actress, though, isn't she?
Yes, she's just an absolute sweetheart and totally game to have us in. And, their 6-month-old baby was sound asleep at the time, and their 2-year-old, who was just adorable, who had recently got a hold of the scissors in the bathroom and cut her bangs. So she had a big ponytail on top of her head. She's very, very cute. But when Daddy walked in, I mean, this big, hulking, tough guy, this,
with the ink all over the sleeves.
The Metallica fan turned into the Jungle Jim, and he was so proud of his daughter. And then he was just too proud, had to show us his youngest. So, all of a sudden we look around, where's Wade? And he comes walking down the stairs with this little butterball, this little adorable little child that looks exactly like him. She will eventually look like her mother, I'm sure, who's stunningly beautiful.
But it's another daughter. She will look like her.
Yeah, so good. So, we're getting to see the lighter side of Wade Belak and also getting some pretty straight shooting opinions. And he's just a really good guy. And at one point he turned to me and goes, this better all be worth my while. When I'm out of hockey, I need a job. Consider it training for television and radio.
It doesn't do him any harm. He's a natural at it.
He's a natural.
Yeah.
No
he sure
question.
is. And the Leafs Devils game tonight available on Leafs TV High Definition. The pregame game day getting underway at
6:30.
6:30.
A full hour. Yeah. We have our cameras went behind the scenes and followed Börje Salming around when he was there for the regular season home opener.
That could be interesting for those that know Börje.
It was like a mob scene. It was like he was a rock star, but he also had his 10-year-old son with him, who I don't think really grasped the level of popularity that his father has in this city, because
he was never in this city.
Correct.
Yeah, his older boys.
Yes.
Had an older boy. I don't know how many he had from his first.
How about the high school honors?
He had a son and a daughter who are from his first marriage, I believe, and then the youngster who was just. His eyes were the size of dinner plates as he's walking around, and this absolute mob of people followed him. It was almost like he had.
So where'd you guys go with Salming?
All through the building, they just followed him. Our cameras were just
wherever he went.
Everywhere he went, from the banner raising to the press conference that he had earlier in the day.
That does have to be so neat for his 10-year-old son, who doesn't know that when Börje comes back to Toronto, it's like the Beatles in '64 coming to Toronto.
When he came to our set to be on game day, we did a little live "Hi, how are you?" after we did the retrospective on him with the great footage, and the big scar, all the stitches across his face, and all those great shots. We were in that taped piece when he stepped onto our set, and the people watching around us quadrupled in number and exploded in applause. Like you said, just like the Beatles. It was magic. It was goosebump moment.
Billy, the Börje Salming lore talk to us really quickly as we go to break about what this guy meant to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 70s, and not just the Maple Leafs, but all European hockey players. I know it's a cliche, but it's true.
No, he was one of the first to come over along with Inge Hammerstrom, and Börje was such a superb athlete as well as being a pretty good hockey player. And that's the sad part of that whole Leaf story, is in the late 70s, Punch Imlach tore apart a hockey team that might have challenged the Canadians and then the Islanders because of the youth and the people they had. Sittler, McDonald, Salming, Turnbull, Mike Palmateer. I mean, that was just the beginning. They had a number of good young players, and Börje Salming was as good an athlete as you'll ever see play. And I watch defensemen now. Would he be something in this game? The speed and the change of pace and the ability to see the ice. And he was an all-around good guy. He never took himself too seriously. I was broadcasting then with Bonesy, so I got to see the road side of him, too.
We have to pause. More with Jody Vance. We go to the phones here. Leafs TV host of Leafs Late Night as well, and along with Brian Duff, host of Leafs Game Day on Leafs TV. High Def tonight, Leafs and Devils. Rogers 500, Bell Express View 848. Don't go anywhere.